Well, I had the chance last night to watch a new documentary, and it's really powerful. It's called Clemente, and as you would imagine, it's all about baseball icon Roberto Clemente. And joining us now this morning here on GCR, the son of Roberto Clemente, and nearly an Oriole once upon a time, he is Roberto Clemente Jr., and he's with us here on GCR. Roberto, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Glenn, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Roberto, what a powerful film. I really, as you would imagine, we don't love reliving 1971 in this community. But it's such a beautiful, powerful film. I wonder for you, making this film, I know you were very young when your father passed away. Were there things that you learned about your father in making this film that were special to you?
Really, Glenn, I actually was more confirmation because obviously throughout all these years, I've had so many stories, so many people sharing their stories, and so many are so similar of how he helped them in something. Something was happening, and he was there to help. But yeah, there was more confirmation, but obviously more and more stories that I never heard before, which is always an awesome thing to hear.
One of the things I appreciated most about the film, Roberto, is obviously, as you referred to, your father is known as one of the great humanitarians in the history of sport, and yet, like you saying, right, but Dad wasn't like always the nicest person alive, and telling like the stories of his competitiveness, and obviously the Bob Gibson story. I genuinely appreciated maybe a little bit of the humanity you gave him the other way in telling the story.
Well, but I can do that right now to you because this one actually will hit home better
Okay.
because there was a time where Book Powell he and Dad got into it, and Dad was only 5'11", so Dad went after Boog, actually. So Dad was actually they got into a scuffle. So Dad wasn't afraid of big guys like Boog, man. He was fiery.
Do you,
Dad was a fiery man.
Do you remember what the story was for that? I'm actually imagining your father. Boog's a brick house.
I
Like,
know, I know. I listen. I know. It's funny because I remember sitting with Frank and obviously you mentioned 89.
yeah.
I got hurt with the Orioles actually when I signed with the Orioles, and the stories were unbelievable. Talking to Frank and baseball is a fraternity. It doesn't matter what team you play for, but if you play baseball, you're a brother for forever. Being able to play this great game, and very fortunate for us to be able to have some guys talk about my father on this documentary that were impacted by him as well.
You can find out more by going to clemente.film about where to watch Clemente and how to go see it in theaters. Roberto Clemente Jr. with us on GCR. Roberto, maybe my favorite story in the entire documentary is the story of the woman whose dad gave your father a ride to the airport when he missed the bus because he was so busy
Yes.
signing autographs. As she projected it, you all had stayed friends over the years, correct?
We, we are still. Are you kidding me? We speak every week. We talk. I mean, my team was just here. We just together. We spend that weekend together. Um, we're family. This is the real deal. Dad was actually buying homes in Puerto Rico for her family and for four other families for them to spend time in Puerto Rico in the wintertime with us.
That is so cool, man. That is so cool. Roberto, I wonder how important this was for you. I know, telling your father's story whenever is important, but like my producer watched the documentary last night, and he's not even 30 years old. I acknowledge that your father had been gone for over a decade before I was born, and I'm in my 40s. For a generation that maybe doesn't know, that knows the legend of your father and knows Roberto Clemente Day every year and the Roberto Clemente Award, how important was it for you to tell the story of your father for our generation, for people that never were able to see him play?
It is for me very important to make sure that we had a voice as a family in a project like such as this one. We've had many documentaries before, but as a family, we were just, yeah, we were consulted, but they were doing their own thing. This time, we're part of the actual production of it, and being able to talk to those kids that are learning about Clemente in third and seventh grade. We're now, even before this release, we are creating a curriculum for middle school age students about Clemente to become, better global citizens and digital citizens. Being able to take care of their own ways and be kind and mindful and so forth. So we're making sure that that legacy continues to go beyond just a game of baseball or a sport. This is actually more of being a better human being and utilizing that Clemente vehicle to do so. Our motto is to build a nation of the good the Clemente way, and I think that we're in the right path.
It's wonderful.
With kids that are learning from him.
That's really wonderful, Roberto. I bring up 1971. You were very young at the time. Did you have any personal memories of
Yeah,
1971? Yeah.
absolutely.
Were
I
you
remember.
were you in
I
Baltimore?
was in. I was not happy, Glenn, because they sent me home because I needed to go to school. So I was in Puerto Rico while the series was going, but then we were playing hooky still because we were watching the games in school in with the TV. So um, we had no class when we were watching the games. I remember very well, and the thing for me that is very funny, Glenn, that people may not know is that when my father won the MVP for in that series, the league thought and the sponsors thought that the Orioles were going to win the series.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Everyone in the world thought that the Orioles had it in the bag because you
420
have
game
4 game
winners.
winners.
Yeah, defending World Series
How can you
champs.
lose with
Right.
4 game? How can you lose with 4 20 game winners?
Yeah.
You can't. Well, to tell you the truth, that was in the middle of the whole thing. He wins the MVP. They give him an orange vehicle, orange and white vehicle, as a trophy. Okay? It was not black and gold. It was actually orange and white.
Love this. Did he keep it?
Yeah, he
Oh, that's
kept it. Was
great.
his favorite car. It was a Dodge Charger. I learned how to drive on that car. In that car.
All right.
That was
It's not going to make anybody in Baltimore feel better about what happened, but it is a really great story.
it's pretty funny though. Pretty funny.
It's really great. Did you was signing with the Orioles when you did? Were you prepared to avenge us? Like, was there anything humorous to you about the fact that you ultimately ended up signing with the Orioles? I know it didn't work out for you to become an Oriole, but was there part of you that kind of got a good chuckle out of that, knowing what had happened in '71?
Listen, absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely. And the funny thing is that later on, in life, I would be hanging out with Frank at Cooperstown, and we'd be laughing about it because actually he told me I had a great spring. He had a good spring. We're gonna go out, and then I woke up paralyzed from my waist down the very next day. Anyway, but it was my life has been very, very funny being involved with the Orioles and with the Yankees as well. The two
Yep.
1960 and 71 World Series and 79. I was part of the 79 team. I was catching in the bullpen that summer with those guys and felt part of that team. I mean, obviously, it was a very special time to be a Pirate.
I know I need to let you go. My last one for you, Roberto. The fact that so many Puerto Rican players were still involved and that you still see the impact that he continues to have. And I know, that as far as Puerto Rico goes, there's no greater icon. But what did it mean to you to have those guys involved in the documentary? And I'm sure still hear stories day in and day out of what your father has meant to some of the greatest players in baseball history.
It is, it is great that he still is their model, and you know what? We're very proud that he is the model for the players of today. Still, I mean, he cannot do any wrong. He will forever be young, a 38-year-old man that gave it all that he had to give, and we're still proud of the legacy that he had left us.
And of course, the Molinas and Francisco Lindor involved in the project. It's incredible. Clemente.film is where you find out more. Roberto Clemente Jr., congratulations to you and your family. It's really a wonderful tribute, and thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us this morning.
Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate it. Thank you.